Came under with State of the U. Jump on over there. Get yourself set for the NC State game, the aftermath of the Virginia, and everything else that they've got going on. stateoftheu.com. Ronan, one of our main guys here, always contributing, helping us out. Mark and Cam, the dream team. Cam, what's your opinion on Mike Harley's comments after last week's game?
If you didn't see this, Mike Harley had, first of all, an amazing game. 10 catches for 130 and a touchdown, or 170? Hold on. Yeah, 10 for 170 and a touchdown. So, I mean, a career day.
170.
Yeah. I mean, his first catch was 43. But yeah, 10 for 170. The opening score, the best game of his career. He was ACC wide receiver of the week, not even a co-wide receiver, but like the sole wide receiver of the week, award winner this week and everything. So demonstrated a level of performance and excellence that, we've seen from him at St. Thomas Aquinas when he was in high school, the kind of on-field performance that, again, as a senior, we've been looking for. And that's kind of been part of the issue of getting these guys to translate to this level. But, I mean, he played very well. After the game, he said that the wide receivers, himself included, had not been doing the work necessary to be great. Not staying after practice or watching film, not staying after on the jugs machine on the field, working on their hands and their craft at catching the football, not doing the detail work that it takes to be great. And it's hard to be great at something. There are the very few people who can do whatever it is that they do, and they do it naturally without having to work at it or put time into it or anything. And they're able to be the elite of the elite just by living and breathing. And that's just how it goes. Pretty much everybody has to work. And the thing that you don't understand, or the thing that, if you are a mediocre person and are comfortable with mediocrity, then you're just going to kind of get to a certain level, and then you're going to coast. You're not going to work anymore. Like, okay, I achieved this, I've attained this, and I'm fine where I am. But if you really are striving for greatness, no matter where you are, no matter your station in life, no matter if it's sports or business or anything, the better you are, the more you have to work. You know what I mean? The late, great Kobe Bryant had a key to the AAA. So he could get in at 5 o'clock in the morning, put up shots when the Lakers were here in South Florida. You know what I mean? He was staying after practices, after games. He'd lose a game, he'd be in the gym 2 and 3 hours getting shots up. That wasn't just because he felt like shooting, just because he wanted to shoot air jumpers. You know what I mean? He was actually working on his craft. And to be the kind of great that he was, that's the kind of work that is necessary for that. You talk about Michael Jordan, his incessant work ethic. You know what I mean? LeBron James works on his game all of the time. You can go to baseball, hockey, football, whatever. It has to live in you in a different kind of a way. And I don't think it had. Well, from what Mike Harley said, it had not for the wide receivers. And that's troubling to me. And you bring in KJ Osborne last year, who was a fifth-year senior, grad transfer from Buffalo. And he was here to show and prove the way that you work like a professional. And KJ Osborne made the Minnesota Vikings. He's their starting punt returner right now, I believe. And he would do all of these things. He would try to lead by example. Hey, this is how you do this. This is how you go about the business of getting to where you want to be. To being great takes work. And they didn't see that. They just saw somebody who stayed after practice, and they would stay after him a little bit or whatever, but they didn't see that. And then when the coaching staff opened up the competition at wide receiver, then it lit a fire under their asses. And, good on them that they were able to come out and make some plays and everything. But it shouldn't take that kind of external thing. You should have to have inside motivation. You know what I mean? I want to be great. I'm going to work at this because nobody else is going to do it for you. And when I was a choir teacher, I told my students, I can't sing the notes for you. This music that's on the piano behind me was one of the songs that we sang when I was a choir director, and I had it, and I was practicing the piano, and I was just letting my fingers walk a little bit. And I'm not the greatest piano player in the world, but I love this song. I was like, okay, whatever. And we're going through, and I'm remembering in the rehearsal process, and said, hey, I've done I went to the University of Miami. I had a scholarship in music. I've sung here, there, and everywhere. I get paid for this. I get paid to do this. But I cannot sing these notes for you. Rob Likens cannot run these routes for you. KJ Osborne, Amon Richards, whoever, Michael Irvin, who wants to come and give you the hype speech of hype speeches, because he's Michael Irvin, that's what he does. They're not going to run these routes for you. They're not going to get the separation. They're not going to get those contested catches for you. You have to do that. And they weren't doing it. And finally opening up the competition and saying, hey, you're actually going to sit on the bench if you don't figure it out. They decided that they wanted to figure it out. So I'm glad that there seemed to be some forward movement. I am not happy that it took that to incite that positive movement, that forward momentum. Because at Clemson, they don't need that. At Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Southern Cal, Oregon, any of these places, they don't need that. And that was also part of the thing. I mean, I know the
maybe Texas.
Okay, maybe Texas, because Texas is terrible. And I know that coaches go through this. I went through this when I was a teacher. Why do I have to yell and scream and turn into this psychotic person to pierce through your malaise, your lack of caring, to get you to buy in, to touch the greatness that I'm trying to get out of you? This is what the University of Miami is about. This is what Hurricanes football is about. And God damn it, if you don't want to be here, I got some freshmen. I'm going to put them out there because they're too young and they don't know the magnitude of the moment. They're not going to be scared. They're not going to half step. They're going to they're going to run as hard as they can, as fast as they can, and go celebrate. And I would rather that than I guess I'm going to go half-ass. I was supposed to run this slant on the RPO, but there was a linebacker there. He didn't hit me, and then that turns into one of the 3 interceptions for FIU last year because you didn't run your route. And if you ran your route, you probably get a pass interference. We get, the yardage and the first down. But you wanted to quit on that. You wanted to be soft. And Rob Likens talked about this because he did a Zoom after one of the practices this week or in the media availability. And he said, he is hyped. He is hyped like I'm being hyped right now. Go and look it up. It should be on the Canes All Access Miami Hurricanes YouTube page. But he said his motto for the wide receivers is don't be soft. DBS. Period. I need that. And we started to see some of that. But again, why does it take 6 games or 5 games in a week of practice? Why does it take the offense looking terrible? Why did it have to take all of this stuff to finally get these guys to think, hey, maybe I want to do something to improve my performance to help the team? You know what I mean? Like, that's the part, to me, that's the frustrating part. So, and credit to Mike Harley for being open and honest and transparent, but I don't want to hear about that anymore. Honestly and truly. And if your leader, your senior leader in the room is coming out and saying that, everybody knows that. So now we're talking about if they're not doing the work and they're not putting in the work, why are you playing them and not playing? And you're playing seniority as opposed to talent or athleticism. Why are you playing these guys if they're not doing the work and they're not producing on the field either? Why are you doing that and not giving these young kids a chance? Because, hey, maybe you hit it big. You know what I mean? But I would rather take the volatile chance with a young guy out there who might actually do something than an older guy out there who's just going to walk through and mock through stuff because he doesn't have the personal fortitude to go hard at 1,000,000 miles an hour like Miami Hurricanes do. That's frustrating to me. Look, we've all talked about it. We've all seen it from the outside. Mike Harley just put a voice to what we all had observed. Excuse me, but golly, that is frustrating to hear.
I've told my kids that going through the motions, even at a fairly decent rate or checking the boxes off, isn't good enough in a world in which people are hungry to get a job, to be competitive, to show that they want to be the best. When there are 50 people fighting for one job, just filling out the application and sending it in online is not good enough.
Right.
You show that you want, that you're going to work hard, that you're going to be working when other people are taking spring break or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You got to show that you want it more because it's not an easy world. And at that level, of college football, it's not easy. Talent's not alone enough.
I mean, talent by itself, doesn't do anything. But good is not good enough. It's not. And for some people, it is. And some people are fine with being mediocre. I'm not made for the ground. I'm made for excellence. I push for perfection in everything that I do. And I might not get there, but that's the goal. Being average, that's not what I'm built for. And hearing that there's guys, an entire position group, a key position group that is just accepting of being mediocre is fucking frustrating. God. And Robert Burns, to the last comment, did look okay. I was just very frustrated with the fact that Donald Chaney had been cooking in the run game in the second half. And then you put Robert Burns in for a participation trophy kind of carries and things like that. I just didn't think that that was the right choice. I didn't think that was the right rotation. I mean, we had the hot hand and then we sat him down. And I mean, Virginia did end up getting the ball back as well. But I just didn't. I thought that there were other spots where maybe Robert Burns could have gotten his carry or gotten those carries and things like that. But at that time and scenario, and again, with the hot hand, why are you going away from that? And there was no injury either with Donald Chaney. So I just didn't see that as being smart.
Curveball. If I had $8,003 in the bank, I would offer the $8 million buyout for Mario Cristobal to come to Miami. Then give me a soda and some chips.
I mean, you could have worse ideas. I do think that Cristobal is proving himself to be a wonderful recruiter, which everybody knew. And a pretty decent program builder and operator as well. But Manny Diaz has been recruiting very well since he's been here. Hopefully we develop and finally win a game after a bye week for the first time in his tenure upcoming next week and everything. I myself personally am not ready to do that right now. But if things end of this year, maybe next year, are looking like the job or Manny, it's a little bit too big for his britches. You know what I mean? He needs another mango season, maybe to step down to a G5 job or something like that before taking another shot at the big time. I would look in that direction pretty strongly. But I'm good with where we are right now.
The Canes have cleaned up on 5 opponents that are generally in the same vicinity. And I think I mentioned this last week. And then weren't up to the task at Clemson. It's not going to happen until North Carolina is in this realm that I'm talking about, and Virginia Tech might be. I can't wait to see those games. Not that North Carolina State's going to be a pushover, and you got to look past that game because you can't. They had been playing really good football before they lost their quarterback and took on UNC this past week. But it's not like in the ACC there's that Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, a lot of those teams where it's like, I would love to see Miami play that team. They played Clemson. They played one of the 3 best teams in the country, and They played a bunch of 50th best teams in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see against, so a little bit of the higher caliber talent or opposition in the conference. I mean, Clemson excluded because, they're the best team in America right now. Or one of the handful, 3-4 best programs around. But yeah, playing some opponents in the top 15 to 30-ish range and seeing what we can do there would be great. And I mean, again, I think that we have the talent to do that. I think that we have the ability to play with pretty much anybody. But we have to show and prove.